Welcome to April 10, 2007 Recreation Committee meeting, and want to welcome everyone here this evening. Anyone, before we start our meeting, anyone that want to sign up to speak on any item, please sign up right now, and you have 3 minutes to speak on that subject or item. Okay? Call meeting in order. Everyone is here. Ms. Cheryl Fontenot, would you do the invocation?
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Father, we come before your throne tonight. Father, we welcome you into this place. We welcome you into our parish as we do the business of the parish. Father, tonight our concern is with the recreation, and we ask you to give us creative ideas and give us extra money, Father, whatever it takes to bring up to par the recreation in this parish. For we recognize that our children are a valuable asset, and we do, Father, want to do the best we can, and we need your help and your guidance. As always, we ask you to keep our soldiers, those that volunteer in our community, and the law enforcement agencies, Father, that keep us safe. We ask that you keep them safe also, and that you return those that are at war home safely to their loved ones. And we ask all these things, as always, in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will have recreation update by Cheryl Kincher, Director of Recreation.
Good evening. The recreation update, we have registered t-ball, softball, and baseball players for a total of 1,752 players. The numbers are down in all three sports, which follows the national trend of lack of participation in youth sports. Leasing of facilities. We are still giving out equipment for softball. We have formed an official organization so that our referees, our umpires are now, no one is under the age of 18. They are trying to train and certify the officials. At current, we have 31 officials with 2 gentlemen who are doing all the scheduling for 3 youth sports and adult softball. That's pretty much my report, but I would like to introduce you to a couple of people and let them have the opportunity to speak under my report. First up, I have Carl Sehner. Carl coordinates and runs our AYBA, and he would like to talk a little bit about recreation and basketball.
Microphone's too short. Been running a basketball program by myself 12, 14 years, and involved in it for close to 20 some odd years. This year we were down, but that wasn't because of a national trend. It was because I changed the starting age from 5 to 6. We were down a little over 100 kids. Last year we had over 155-year-olds. Our program has gotten too big for the number of volunteers we have. Also had a problem this year. We lost 2 of the gyms. So instead of playing 6 or 7 games at each gym, we ended up playing 9 and 10 at each gyms. So they were there. They were there the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, kneel down. Anyway, my association with the recreation program is a number of years. I've gone through Roy Quizer years ago, Bill Evans, Kenny, and now Sherry. And all I can tell you is that the last 3 have been extremely helpful. This year, because of the amount of travel I do in my business, I had to rely on Sherry and Beth a lot. I'm very pleased with everything that they do for us, as much help as they give us, and whatever support they need, I'm here to give it. And I will continue to run the program for I don't know how many more years, but just enjoy basketball and enjoy kids, and that's all. Any questions? We had a little over 1,200 kids this year, which is down from 13 last year.
Mr. Chairman.
You have the floor, Mr. Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Carl, you said you lost 2 gyms.
Yes.
What gyms were?
One of the gyms we lost was the Dutchtown back gym because they put classrooms in it for overcrowding. We also lost the old Gonzalez primary gym. The principal there had made an agreement to let somebody else use it. I don't know why, but it was an inconvenience. But we lost one of our volunteers, so I had nobody to run it anyway. Right.
Okay, are we addressing that, Ms. Kinchin?
The gyms?
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as we can. We're kind of, at a loss when they have overcrowding and they have to take a gym for education. I don't have a gym.
Okay.
They have offered to talk to any school that I need to use their gym because there are some other schools we could use. The problem is I have to have an individual at that gym all Saturday, and we just don't have enough people that are either willing enough or dumb enough to do that.
Ms. Sharon?
Sherry, my concerns are, you said that the numbers were down, like for baseball, for lack of participation. Could that be because, the money that you're having to put out per child now is way up, and I know that the coaches say that they do take in kids and they will fund kids. Nobody that comes to them will not play. But my problem is, if a parent, like myself or anybody else that has a number of kids, when you see what the fee is going to be, you don't even go because you're not going to go looking for charity. So I'm just wondering if the numbers are down, not because of a lack of participation, because certainly we've got an increase of children in the parish. The numbers should be up, not down. And I have a concern. I'm going back here and, looking through the budget, and I've looked in 204, the salaries.
Excuse me, Ms. Sheriff, I know you want to go on.
Well,
right now.
I'm just wanting to ask her if it's a lack of money. What do we need to do to bring the program up? Because obviously we Carl's saying that his program is down because we don't have gyms and volunteers and stuff. But obviously some children are not getting to play.
I'd like to correct that assumption. My program was down because I changed the age. If we would have had 5-year-olds this year, we would have been at or higher than we were last year. So
you dropped an age group.
Still, yeah.
Right.
We've exploded along with the parish. So, yeah, that's the big reason for me.
Is that all you have for him?
Yeah, I'm just concerned, to know exactly what you perceive the problem could be, other than the fact that we might be charging too much for some children that would create that problem, and that we don't have the necessary funds to expand.
Okay, well, I can address the fee. The council set the fee at $25, and that is what we take for each child. You would have to ask each individual league what their registration fees are and why they charge above the $25.
I guess what I'm getting at is I realize that we're charging, and we did set the fee higher with all the baseball people included in the decision. I wasn't going to oppose something that the baseball people didn't oppose. But, we're collecting more money now from the fee, but our money that we have going into actual expenses for the kids, according to the budget, is down.
Well, if you're asking me if I want more money in my budget, the answer is yes. I can always use more money in the budget, but the park fee is set at $25. I know it costs about $55 in softball. So above the $25 park fee, you would have to ask each league.
I know. I'm just saying. I know we're charging more, but it seems like we have even less to spend with the more money coming in. So I'm concerned about that. Just something to think about.
Oh, I would agree. If you're asking if I need more money, if I want more money, the answer is always yes. In order to expand, it costs about $300,000 to put a ball field in. So, you know.
Mr. Ellenbeck.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought it was interesting that you pointed out that this was a national trend.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, not everyone's growing like Ascension Parish is growing, but the fact that participation is down, I think kids are finding a lot of alternatives to baseball. Mm-hmm. And parents are finding alternatives for them as well. And I, for one, I don't think it's the fee that's holding them back. I mean, it's, you know, the average house in Ascension Parish is new house selling for $200,000. And they building them left and right and selling them left and right. So I don't think a $25 fee is going to stop anyone from registering the kids for baseball. Now, if we don't have a quality program or we've got problems, I'm saying if, then that's another issue. So, back to Mr. Sayner's comments about the gyms. Over the years, Carl, I think George, I see Mr. Valentine, Councilman Valentine's in the back. The magic number's always been 900 at a school, and I think Prairieville, with their shift of kids for next year, they're going to be close to that number, and the board will probably be, you know, thinking about a second gym at that location. And that's just for your information, Carl, that they probably at some point in time will have a second gym there available. So.
And I would like to add, with regard to basketball this year, we did meet with the sheriff's office, and Carl met with Superintendent Sanji to try to address some of the issues that they were concerned about at the schools, vandalism, kids not being in the gym. So we've tried to be really diligent in those areas, because if we lose our school gyms, we lose our basketball program. We do not have the money to build 8 gyms, nor do we have the land to put 8 gyms on. In terms of the fee, I'm not sure about this, but I'm assuming that each league has an indigent fund that those children who want to play have an opportunity to do that. At least we did in the soccer organization. There are a lot of reasons why kids choose not to participate, but I think the glaring number that we should be looking at in recreation is the fact that if you take the 1,752 that we registered for ball this spring, and you take the 1,500 that Carl had, and you add those two figures together, we're not even touching 4,000 kids, and a lot of those are basketball players who sign up to play spring sports, and we have almost 21,000 kids in our school system. So I think the more glaring question would be, what is not there for those 16,000 or 17,000 kids? And we are trying our best to find those avenues. Again, it is a question of space and money. And so as we have expanded, it has been into areas that cost us very little or no money. And through that, we've been able to do our remote control, and we have a table tennis organization, and we're trying to expand in those areas. So I would like to ask Kirk Lambert and Steve Drago to come up from the adult softball group and offer their comments about softball and recreation.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kirk Lambert. I am the president for the APASA, Ascension Parish Adult Softball Association. This will be my 3rd year as the president, my 5th year being involved with the way the league has run. This year, the adults have been asked to move to another facility. We are now claiming Prairieville Park as the adult field, and I know that the recreational committee does not have influx of money to spend, and Ms. Sherry and Ms. Beth both are working with us, and we are getting Prairieville Park established. The spring league normally would have started yesterday. We hopefully will start next week, maybe 2, thanks to the ladies' help, and I appreciate what they do for adults.
I just want to add that that I've been involved with adult softball for 6 years out here, and every time I've gone to them for any kind of help, any kind of funding, or as far as getting field maintenance done, it's been done right away. But there again, now we move into to Prairieville Park. There's a lot of work that needs to be done at Prairieville Park. Excuse me. But I think we're in the right direction. I think we're going to get it done. You know, we're going to keep the park clean as we possibly can. We always do. But other than that, we're happy with the results we're getting from Beth and Ms. Sheriff.
Excuse me, sir. How many teams you have participating?
Last year we had a total of 41 adult teams.
41.
Our biggest competitor for the past, I've played in Ascension Parish for 7 years. I used to play at Baton Rouge. It's a league, Drillers Diamond. Drillers Diamond has 4 fields. Most of the teams, when I was playing there, most of those teams are from Ascension Parish. Drillers Diamond is officially closing this year. We have the potential to have that many more teams to play in this parish.
Ms. Fontenot.
I'm familiar with that because my sons play out there at Drillers, and I know that they are closing, and it is a big sport with I consider all the young adults.
Right, that's right. 18 to 22. That's the age that you lose children or young adults.
Right. You're doing some concessions and stuff too. You do, or is that the Diamond Field that picks that up?
We're trying. We don't really get into that as much.
Mr. Hillenbeck.
And you got 41 teams, and you're playing, as I understand it, and I've been in there, but it's been a while. It's one field. That's Sharon.
Yes, sir. We had 41 total teams last year. And that was including men's, both in the spring and the summer league, and the women's summer, and then a co-ed at the end of the year.
So, but you're all playing on that one field site now.
Well, we were fortunate to have Gore Park as the women's and co-ed, and we were using the men. The men were playing at Santamar Park.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
I just want to add about adult softball. One of the greatest things about this group of people is they are playing alcohol-free ball. And if you're familiar with adult softball, sometimes alcohol is a integral component of the game, and they are working very hard. They don't have games on Friday, but they're trying to keep the alcohol out of the park. So this is an alcohol-free adult league, and Drillers Diamond is closing, and I've had lots of calls for adults to come here. So one of the things we've talked about since I came onto this job was the expansion of recreation for adults as well. This is an area where we've moved them just about every year. I would like to see them stay at Prairieville and have that be an adult park. Having said that, I already have people who want to schedule practices because we do not have really enough field space for all the teams to practice as much as they want to. One of the things about adult softball, it's going to explode here. Drillers Diamond is closing, so it's going to be a fact, and a lot of those people already live here. They are voters and taxpayers, so they have a right to expect recreation as well. I would also like to say that this year we had the Coach I tournament, and we use Butch Gore, and sometimes we use Stevens Park. These are licensed, certified teacher coaches who use my facilities. I doubt seriously if these coaches would use our facilities if they felt they were under par. In June, I will have the Nichols State baseball coach here for 3 days doing a clinic at Stevens Park. Again, this is a college-level coach who chooses to use one of our facilities. I find it hard to believe that they would come to Stevens if they thought that it was a subpar facility. So having said that, and before I close, I would like to tell you again, I know I've told you this before, but I have a wonderful group of people that work in recreation. They are motivated and focused. Do we make mistakes? Absolutely. When we've made those mistakes, we've tried very hard to rectify those as quickly as possible, even to the point of going in on our own time. I really do not think they are lazy or uncooperative. So I would just like to go on the record as saying I will put those people up against any worker in this parish and feel very comfortable in doing so.
Okay, Ms.
Thank you.
You have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a question for the adult softball league. Do y'all have a rec league tournament? Like I know the baseball tournament, we have the jamboree to kick off the thing. Do y'all have some sort of rec league tournament?
We normally have like an end of the year tournament, like at the league and leagues in.
Okay.
We'll normally have it's just an interleague tournament at the end. We have been approached by Miss Sherry and Miss Beth this year. They would like for us to have some tournaments at Prairieville Park once it's established and up. And we would like to invite all of y'all to attend just to see what we have done to the field.
Okay. Okay. I guess the other question I would have is what kind of potential? We only have one field at this place. Okay, so if we ever wanted to do a rec league tournament where we would have other rec leagues come in and play, we'd kind of be hard pressed to do that, right? Any kind of thing where people would stay in hotels.
On that one field, you would.
Yeah.
I mean, you have other fields that are accessible, and you can run it. It's just more difficult to have a multi-field tournament.
Thank you.
We are looking into purchasing an acre that sits adjacent to Prairieville Park, and I have asked for permission to enter into that negotiation. So that is 1 acre of property that will expand Prairieville. So, you know, we're growing in very small increments, but that's 1 acre of property. And once I spend the money for that 1 acre, my land budget is gone.
Cheryl, is Jackie Robinson being used at all?
Some of the teams are going out there to practice. It's not a scheduled field, but they can go out there. And what I've told some of the coaches is, you know, you're welcome to go out during the day. The problem seems to be surfacing when, for example, the adults go out and work Prairieville and they line the field, they get the infield ready, and I'm sure the same thing with baseball. And then when you say it's a public park, then their work is all for naught, because when they get back to the park, it's not ready for them to play. So during the season, we pretty much don't allow anybody else to use those fields except for those leagues. We won't lease to tournament teams during the rec season this year, so that it will, you know, their work won't be
destroyed. What about Southwood Village Park? What's going on out there?
Right now, Southwood is being leased by the Lady Hawks Fast Pitch. And that is a tournament team, and at some point I feel like they will have to find another facility, because we probably next year will have to access that facility for games and practice.
I was just wondering what was going on out there. I mean, I think that they're going to need some more fields if they got 41 teams.
Well, we are trying to, Councilman Lambert and I have been talking, and we're trying to get some labor out there at Mount Zion to clear it. And I'm trying to use inexpensive labor. Pardon?
What about the Civic Center out there? I mean, they used to play softball out there.
Yeah, there are teams who are going out there as well. I have let them know that that's an open field and that there isn't anybody that's tagged to that location, so they can go out there and practice. And again, most of the parks are open during the day. It's just that once we are in the rec season, we really would like for people to stay out of our ballparks, because the volunteers are working the fields. And they don't want to see their fields destroyed for the games.
That will conclude your report. Anybody else have any question on? Thank you very much, Ms. Sheriff.
Thank you.
Moving on. Moving on to item number 4, intergovernmental agreement with Ascension Parish School Board for the Lowry Middle School at Park and Parker Road School Park. And what we have here is maxing the committee to go into a negotiation to go with the school board for an intergovernmental agreement for a park in those areas. And those areas are children park areas. They will only be there for a walk path, also little kids swings and games like that, and a pavilion on that area. Ms. Fontenot?
I think this is something that we need to take under advisement, since we're just getting the copy of the agreement. We need to have time to read it.
This is just a copy of it. This is just to introduce.
So we're not going to move on this tonight?
We're not moving on this. This is to introduce this here to make everyone aware of what we're trying to do.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I would like to explain it at the podium so the public can see what's going on with this.
You want a motion, Mr. Chairman, first?
Right. Hold on, we had a motion on.
Motion to introduce? Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Mr. Bott,
Fontenot.
do it up. I'll make a motion to introduce it, Mr. Chairman.
I'll say.
To introduce it, we just have the motion. It's just an introduction for the intergovernmental agreement.
Correct.
All right, all in favor for the introduction of the agreement?
Send this to the full council tonight.
No.
Then all you need to do is give it for us to review tonight without a motion and put it on the agenda next time, and then we'll move on it.
Yeah,
So that we'll have time to study it, because we can't make a recommendation to the full council until we've read it. What I'm thinking.
Well, this is something we've talked about now.
Well, we've talked about it, Doug, but we really haven't done the
The motion is
read
on the floor,
agreement.
and we also just, let you come, you want to call your motion back, or?
I'm willing to go ahead and introduce. This has been something, the Parker Road, this is the first time with Floyd. I mean, we have been working with Parker Road for the last several months. If there's anything we can get out to let the public see what we're trying to do, I'd appreciate it.
Mr. Hillenbeck, you're going to speak on behalf of Parker Road?
Right. Yeah, I'd like to put it on the scanner so the public can see what we're talking about.
Oh, I don't have any objection to that.
Okay. That's what
I
I'm
just don't want to send it to the council until
No,
I've read
we're
it.
not going to the council.
That's not the motion, Sheriff. This is where all the discussion is
Mr.
supposed to
Hillenbeck,
take
what
place.
you,
So that's what we do. Pardon?
I said I'm in favor of hearing about it.
We just got through here and we had all this lack of recreation space. Again, this is something that I talked about last year, and let's see if I can focus this and bring it into focus. I bet, do we have anybody that can help me with this machine? Okay, this is an 80-acre tract on Parker Road that the school board purchased. I believe it was purchased in, 1998, George? 1999? 1999. 80-acre tract. This site where you see the dark area, this is bordering Parker Road. This is where the primary school is being built at this time, a K through 5 primary school. And I need a pointer. Let me guys look at finger. Thank you. Okay. Again, this is all an 80-acre tract. This is Highway 929. Rhonda Place is back to the north of the site. Parker Road is to the south. Parker Road runs over to Highway 44, and you got the Oaks subdivision over here. You got Rhonda Place subdivision located on the northern edge. What I've been speaking with various members of the school board about, including Chad Lynch, who is director of facilities development, is doing the same thing that the council did a few years back with the Youth Legacy Park on Highway 621, and I believe that's Ms. Fontenot's district, right?
No, that's Valentine.
Okay, and I think the difference is back then that was a outright intergovernmental agreement for swap of services for property. I think the board went in and put in, the council went in and put in the road to the school, and we're not doing that. What this agreement is that you have before you is a intergovernmental agreement for a long-term lease, initially a 10-year lease with 2 5-year options at basically no cost. The only thing the school board has asked is that the council be responsible for it, the council insure it, the council pay all the utilities, all the electrical, the gas, what have you. And this is for what I have in mind is a nice recreation park that will complement the neighborhoods and also complement that K-5 primary school. Chairman Oliver mentioned playground equipment for small children, walk trails and park benches, and of course obviously we have to have restrooms. But I'm not speaking of a park with baseball fields and softball fields. We're talking about a leisure park, which we've had many discussions the last few meetings about alternative recreation. alternative recreation for very small children and young families. The long and the short of it is this. Our legal counsel, Mr. Babin, has worked on this agreement, and it is a standard agreement. It's all laid out for you to review. School board members that I have talked to, they are willing to enter into this agreement once this recreation committee moves on it and the council moves on it. So basically that is the agreement before you, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them for you. I know that this is a 10.5-acre site. To my knowledge, everyone on the school board is willing to go into this. They're just waiting on the Recreation Committee to act and then the full council to act. Once we approve the agreement, and with the agreement there are 2 resolutions. There's a resolution from the Parish Council, and there's a resolution from the school board. Those are part of the proposal that you have before you, the intergovernmental agreement. I'd like to answer any questions that you have about this. I'd like for you to look at this, review it, and then maybe let's put it back on the agenda for the next committee meeting, discuss it further.
Questions. Yeah, Mr. Hillingsback, I guess funding still, do we have the money in the budget to fund this park once we agree on this intergovernmental agreement?
Well,
from what I'm hearing, the budget is, cut pretty good right now, and how much are you looking at, Doug?
Well, that's just it. It's taken many years to get the Legacy Park on 621 to where it is today, and that's been done through grants, some funding. How much, I'm not aware of, but you have to start somewhere, and we're starting with basically free property. Now, when we bought these 80 acres, we paid $1,250,000 for it. That property today would go for $3.5 to $4 million. So I think you're talking a neighborhood of $40,000 to $50,000 an acre that the school board is offering up. Of course, they like the idea of us having a park between the existing school that's under construction now and the next school down the road, whatever school that turns out to be, if it's a middle school or a high school. They like the idea of a park buffer zone being between the 2 schools.
So I guess the big thing is the schools have to understand, if we do go in this agreement, the park may not come right away. It may be several years down the road before we're able to fund it. So
Well,
I'm hoping that the school is understanding that once we go in this agreement, the park ain't going to pop up.
Yeah, I don't expect anything to pop up overnight, seeing how government works. I mean, I'd be the first to understand that.
I'm not talking about overnight. I'm talking about years. It may take years down the road.
Well, like I say, we started small at the Youth Legacy Park.
And I have no problem with the intergovernmental agreement, but I just want to make sure the school board's understanding of the situation also.
They have a public comment period. If you want to go and make that comment to them, you're welcome to. I mean, it's something that's needed in the area with the explosion of population growth in the northern end of the parish. And it's something that would certainly benefit people all across the parish that want to use the park. And again, I realize there's a little bit of wetlands involved. I'm not asking for any buildings to be built on the wetlands. If you look at the Bluebonnet Swamp up on Bluebonnet Boulevard in Baton Rouge, they got a plank walkway across some wetlands. You can do that. You don't have to mitigate it. You just can't put buildings on it, permanent structures. But there's a very small portion of this proposed land site that is actually in wetlands. But it's a very nice site with lots of trees, and it would make an excellent park for the area. That is obviously something we need with, like Councilman Lambert said, and this is something he and I have been working on since last year sometime when we first started discussing it and working with school board members that represent this area. So anyway, I just wanted to present that to you, ask you to go over the agreement. It's a standard agreement. If the school board calls a lease, we get to pull off any improvements we've made. They understand that. It starts out a 10-year lease with 2 5-year options for renewal. But I ask that you review that, and we put this back on the agenda for the next meeting. Any other questions for the advisory committee members? Any comment? Okay, thank you.
You can get well done for me. Anybody else? All right.
That motion passed. Can you bring me up to speed on that?
The motion that for it to go into review. We did have the motion on the floor.
Yeah.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
All against? I have it. Item number 5, Oak Grove Community Center. Councilman Doug Hillenbeck.
I just wanted to pass this out amongst the committee members. The one is let's pass this around and let's take a look at it. Oak Grove Community Center is a very small site, or center, I should say. I think you can comfortably put in there, without violating the fire marshal's rating, about 75 or 80 people. And again, we've had all this growth in the northern end of the parish, and I think we need to take a look at improving that center, adding on to it, and we certainly need to improve the basketball goals, and some of the school's going to be out soon, and the pavilion, the roof is in disrepair, Sherry, and I guess you got an email. I hope you're working on all that. But I'd like to make a motion that maybe Ms. Kenshin, as director, take a look at that and come back with some recommendations to this committee on how we can improve that to better serve the citizens and the residents of the northern end of the parish, or for that matter, anyone that wants to use it. And so I'd like to offer that as a motion.
Motion on the floor. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All against? I have it.
Thank you.
Item number 6, Lemonville Park renaming. Councilman Kent Shakespeare,
Lemon Park.
come forward, please. Councilman Shakespeare, you asked me to put this on the agenda.
Yes,
I hope you haven't forgot about it.
Yes, we did. We have a man, Mr. Paul Madison, that has been active in the community in Lemonville for 50 years. He passed away recently, and the overall consensus is that they wanted to do something within the community, and they wanted to add his name to the park. And however it would deem appropriate, we would like the Recreation Commission to take a look at it, and however it would be deemed appropriate to add his name as memorial to the park for all the work that they've done years and years and years. He's opened the park, he's been there, kept up with everything, picked up bottles, and made sure everything was run properly. And it's just been a big asset, and I think it would be very, very appropriate to have some recognition with his name left in the Lemonville Park.
Yeah, I go ahead and make that motion. I guess can't we look at a legal issue on it? Being as a parish facility?
Yes, I mean, it was just, and no one within the family or the community wanted to go ahead. We just wanted to turn it over. We thought it was appropriate to do, and then the correct procedure should be done through recreation, and however it should be done.
Make it pending legal review.
We can do pending legal.
Pending legal review.
I'll second.
And we just thought it was very appropriate.
Any questions? Ms. Cheryl?
Kent, does anybody in the community have any idea about some names? Maybe give a few names out, or
well, part of the park has a name to it now, and that's why we wanted the recreation group to take a look at it and see how it was appropriate to call the park by a certain name. You don't want to have 20 names to it, but it was so instrumental in everything in that area there, and they didn't want to slight anybody, and so I don't want to come here and say it should be done this way or that way.
And I understand that, and I don't think any of us here would like to name a park that we don't know anything about. that should be something that the community,
Yes.
I mean, even if they could give us a hint of a name or whatever, we wouldn't want to throw a name out there and everybody be mad at it.
If you would give us okay, we would like to come back with a proposed name next month, and then we could adopt that. That would be fair. We just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what was being kicked about and everything.
Right.
And
so you will bring us an official name that you want us to adopt.
I can do that if that's the procedure you'd like to do. I didn't want to do that on my own because I thought it was important to come to the Recreation Committee.
All right. Motion is on the floor. All in favor for the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I have it. Item number 7, we have the Ascension Baseball Association, and Mr. Borderline will be speaking on behalf of them. And Ms. Borderline, you have the floor.
I have copies, so what I will say to you,
Yeah.
for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we appreciate this opportunity to talk with the Recreation Committee today. And my name is Byron Bordelon. I've been chosen to speak for the Ascension Baseball Association. The ABA is an all-volunteer, nonprofit 501c3 association that manages our Parish Boys recreational baseball program. We come before this committee in search of a partnership with our parish government, our Recreation Committee, and Park to restore a first-class, safe program for the over 850 boys playing recreational baseball every year. The numbers this year for recreational baseball are actually plus 19 compared to last year. And we feel that these numbers will be even higher. We lose several dozen players almost every season because parents choose to put their children in other areas and other facilities that they feel are better equipped, safer, and better prepared than what we offer at Stevens Park and Santamar Park. And our goal with these suggestions that I have listed here is to have Park properly maintain the baseball fields year-round so they are safe as they can be for all the young boys playing. And this will allow our organization to spend a lot more time within our organizational matters and not have to worry about caring for the field, but we can set up things as how to better train coaches to deal with practices and children and just overall program management so parents know what to expect each season and character building for the young men. We want to create a more family-friendly environment that encourages more participation so every boy that chooses to play baseball will have a fun, rewarding experience. And we have a couple of short-term items that we believe can be accomplished this season so that parents can see that we have things moving in the right direction. First thing is we'd like to reduce the money required to pay to the parish. Just a couple of years ago, it was $10 per child, and now it's $25. A couple of years ago, we didn't have to pay any of our concession money. Now we have to pay 10% of our concessions. Last year, we paid over $30,000 to Park. In exchange for this, Park is to provide safe playing fields, proper lighting, adequate equipment, umpires, and insurance. The problems we have with this is we feel that the fields are substandard and need to be addressed and taken care of year-round so that they drain properly, they play well, balls don't bounce up and hit kids in the eye, in the mouth, and cause injuries. The lights on all of the fields need to be realigned, and especially on the 8, 9, and 10-year-old fields, we need extra lights. The outfields are noticeably dark on the 8s, the 10s, and the 9-year-old fields. The equipment provided from Park is catcher's gear, a chest protector, shin guards, and a mask, 5 batting helmets, and 6 practice balls. Most of the batting helmets missing foam inserts, so they do not fit properly. The catcher's gear is old and never cleaned, many of them missing straps. And most of the teams now are buying their own equipment through various fundraising activities. We propose with the equipment that Park charge a deposit to coaches who want to check out equipment. And if they don't return it, they have the money to replace the equipment and clean the equipment that is returned, so that next year the coaches who want it have nice equipment to get. Park's also supposed to provide the umpires, and the umpires are something big for us. We consider the umpires crucial to the integrity of any recreation, any league whatsoever. And the umpires this past season, most games, we had no umpires. Some games we had one umpire when we were supposed to have two. And the whole end of the season last year, the last couple of weeks, we had no umpires at all on any field. We found out later, at least what the umpires told us, that the parish had run out of money to pay the umpires. That's what the umpires told us. Nobody told us anything, so we were dragging parents and or the volunteers of the organization to umpire the games. The last thing is the insurance. We feel we can purchase better insurance through the organization that sanctions our league, the USSSA, instead of having to buy the insurance through the parish and we can purchase the insurance, present a certificate of insurance to show that every team has insurance and is covered. So our new proposal is we would like to go back to paying $10 per child and reduce the concession money to 5% as a sort of rent for using the concession building. Some other things we consider some basic field improvements that should be done and can be done, we feel, easily this season, is to fix the gates, as many of the gates are difficult to open and leaning and definitely present a safety hazard. Repair the fence bottoms, as most of the backstops, the fence bottoms are curled up and balls, there's wood and different pieces to try and cover up the holes, balls slip out. Install new nylon netting at the top of the backstops. Provide wind screening around all the dugouts. The bat racks in many of the dugouts, on the 10-year-old field, between the two dugouts, there's not one place to place a bat. All of the bat racks are completely destroyed. We would like to see new bases and properly installed home plate on each field. We have two fields that the home plate is not even installed in the ground. It's just loose there. We got to move it around. We would like to have more bleachers, especially behind home plate, on every field. We think a scorer's table would be nice behind each backstop. And a big thing for the kids is to get all the scoreboards working. Scoreboards haven't been working in 4 years that I know of. I don't know how long it's been. We need more groundkeeping supplies, metal rakes, squeegee, foul line painting machine with chalk or white paint. And we would like to have access to properly operating machinery, such as the infield machines and a gator, so we can maintain our fields after games and throughout the season. Some other items we feel are very important: street lights in the back and front of Stevens Park. The last group to leave Stevens Park, when you turn off the lights, hopefully you had somebody go to a car and turn on the lights so you can see where you're going, because there's no lighting back, especially in the back and even in the front. Of course, we think we should have much more consistent mosquito control. That's obviously very important. Regular bathroom cleaning and maintenance at both parks, Santa Ma and Stevens Park. There was all kinds of problems with the bathrooms at Santa Ma Park. Insects, a snake was actually found in it. It was a mess. We'd like some artificial turf installed on the batting cage floor, and artificial turf, for lack of a better term, whatever, something to put on the batting so it's not the exposed cement, because that scuffs up all the baseballs and ruins them when you use them for batting practice. We'd like to see 3 or 4 more picnic tables for family to enjoy under the shaded concession area, and more garbage cans around the park. We have a list here, as you can see, of some long-term goals. We feel that each infield and foul territory should be graded, a sprinkler system installed, and new sod installed. Use specialized infield material to place in the dirt that enhances drainage and improves the playing surface. Just this past weekend, we had 3 young men, just routine ground balls. One got popped in the nose, one got popped in the mouth, one got popped in the eye. And it's just because the fields, the infields, are not properly maintained, they're not level, and it causes problems. We would like to see warning tracks installed in each field, and we'd like to see wind screening around the outfields, all the outfield fences. We'd like the dugouts done this year to provide a little bit better place for the boys when they come in from playing, but we'd like to see all the outfields get wind screened as well. The parking areas, we feel, need to be regraded. There's no cement or blacktop out there. It's all the gravel. So we think if we put some parking bars in the front part of Stevens Park, there's some railings, so it kind of shows people a little bit where to park. In the back, we'd like to see some railings put in the back part to maybe help get some of the parking straight. And with the new parking area on the old 12-year-old field, some railings there to help show people a better way to park, to kind of control the parking a little bit. Right at the entrance in the back part, we feel, just like in the front part, there's a little bit more cement area and some handicap spots. We feel that should be in the back part of the park as well, in the back part of the entrance. We need individual light controls for the lights on each field. There are several fields. A couple of fields one field has to be turned on so that the other field lights are on. So when sometimes you have empty fields with lights on, we feel it would save electricity. But that can only be done once we get some new lights added, because we need some of that extra lighting from the other fields to make sure that the lights are that the fields are at least somewhat lighted. One thing we think that could really help with the improvements and pay for a lot of this is corporate sponsorship, where if we got a business who said, I would pay for the wind screening if I get my whatever, my sign up at the ballpark, something to that effect. We feel that with better facilities, we could have several weekend tournaments that would bring in a lot of money. Weekend tournaments, when the local teams put on weekend tournaments, they make several thousands of dollars sometimes when it's advertised well, because teams come from all around South Louisiana to play. And we'd like to revive the fall baseball program for fall 2008. And with individual field lighting, and we set a certain limitation of how many participants we need, we feel we can get the participation to revive the fall baseball program. So, in conclusion, the ABA Board of Directors and its coaches are willing to work with Park in any manner necessary to complete these objectives. Everything can be accomplished for next season if we start preparing now. And the ABA would like to participate in the decision-making process and is willing to donate many man-hours to see these things come to fruition. We believe recreational baseball is a positive, character-building activity because boys see their parents volunteer and work hard for them. Every boy who comes to us and signs up plays in every game. We provide quality family time opportunities. Boys learn how to act properly as young men, and we keep them away from potential mischievous activities. As one parent sent us an email, these are our children that are trying to stay out of trouble, stay physically fit, learn sportsmanship, build lifetime friendships, and most of all, spend quality time with their family. Programs such as baseball keep our children on the right track, especially during these critical teenage years. The parish should applaud the volunteers and invest in the future of these children by placing more of our hard-earned tax dollars into programs that will in turn keep these children out of trouble and aid them in becoming productive adults and leaders of the community. And we certainly understand everybody here wants the same thing for our youth. And we just hope that this puts a spotlight on boys baseball and everybody can work together and provide the first-class, safe facilities we feel are necessary for Ascension Parish and the youth in this parish. Again, we appreciate the time, and thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Williams? Mr. Lamb.
This might be to Ms. Kitchen, but Mr. Sure. Boyle, we have a full-time employee at Stevens Park and Santamore Park that keeps up the field. I know Butch Gore Park, we get very few complaints or emails about the way the facility is kept up. So I'm just wondering, Sherry, do we have a full-time employee at Stevens and at Santamore Park?
Yes, at Santamore Park, I would say you want to talk to John Kennedy. We haven't had any complaints about Santamore Park.
Okay, Stevens, we're having quite a few issues from what I can understand.
You know, and you're going to continue to have a lot of problems at Stevens because it's the way it was developed and the way you kind of hodgepodge it. But yeah, we'll all work together. We're all working for the same thing.
And I understand the coaches, you know, the coaches are going out there to coach, but they haven't spent more time preparing the fields, and that's it's aggravating on their parts because you want to get out there and teach the kids, and you got to spend more time working the fields. And I've talked to a lot of the volunteer coaches in the parish. And so we're going to try to improve, get these fields ready for y'all to play on. And Sherry, I'd like to see that we can get this where they don't have to come and prep the fields, so and get all the safety issues corrected quickly, because that is very important.
Ms. Sherry?
Byron, this $30,000 that you said that y'all are giving to the park, is that out of the $25,000? That $25? Is that what it is, Sherry?
That's $25 per child, and the 10% and the 10%.
You said you had $1,752, so I come up with $43,700.
No,
It was 3 sports total.
That's all 3
T-ball,
sports. Okay, but you're saying from your league?
I'm saying from our league, from boys baseball.
It's $30,000. I agree with a lot of the things you said, you know, but I know that you guys have some responsibilities too. I did go out to Stevens Park like I promised, and they were cutting the field as I got there, and the guy that was out there did put on the scoreboard, so I saw that they were working, or at least the ones that he put on were working, and they seemed to be operating pretty good there. They did talk to me about the windscreen, and they said, you know, this guy was just saying, you know, as a park person that's out there trying to do the parks and stuff, from his perspective, he said that sometimes y'all want the windscreen, then you get the windscreen up and it gets hot, you know, as the summertime goes, so then you want it down. I'm just saying that this is what's being told to me, that a lot of times when the baseball people are working the field, that they push the gates and stuff with the mowers and the machinery, and then that's what's tearing up the gates. So in that respective, maybe that we need to have some dialogue to see what's going on there. But as far as the money situation, you know, this particular issue caused me to do my homework again, as always. And so I paid attention to this, and I don't like what I'm seeing here. I see that the money for the kids is going down, and somebody needs to give me some answers where that's concerned. I mean, if we're taking in $30,000 from the baseball kids, in 2004, the baseball program was budgeted to have $39,500. That's in the 204. I have the budget right here. It's in here. In 207, $12,000. So we've dropped $23,000, you know, in several years. So the money that's being spent into the program, I don't see that it's here. And yet, they're contributing even more because we've upped the fee and now we're taking concession money. I tried over the past week and a half to get the audio tapes from the meetings because I supported the up fee and I supported the 10% increase because at the time, I wasn't on the recreation committee at the time. I attended the meetings. It was explained to all the coaches and everybody seemed to be okay with it at that time. And if the coaches weren't going to buck the process, then I wasn't going to go against the coaches. But now that we're having problems, you know, I'm beginning to wonder. And the reason that the coaches, from my memory of the meetings, was that the coaches were promised that the 10% that would be taken in by the parish from the concession money would be sort of put into the budget as a wish list. That if they needed a new gator or they needed some sort of equipment or something, you know, that they would have money in the budget to be provided. And so I'm wondering about that $7,000 that we're picking up now. You know, I know we have other recreation and stuff, but I mean, these guys are putting this into the recreation program, and yet their budget's being cut. And so I mean, I hear Mr. Hillensbeck needing a park in his area. There's so many things we need. We're working on skate park. We got things that we want to do. And finding the money seems to be a problem, and it just seems like we're getting less with the money. And I have a concern with our recreation budget, and it's going to be something that I'll look into. But that was one of the things that I had. And so I do think that we need to work a little better. Sherry, they were cutting the park out there. No way that it's finished condition. My boys play ball. Unfortunately, my boys, when they were growing up, played in the city. Well, the city is a governmental institute too, and their parks are up to par and, you know, and up to snuff. And I think that we need to have our grounds looking better. I have a concern. I've been at many ballparks of a kid getting hit in the eye because it hit the dirt the wrong way. If the ground is not playable, it can be very dangerous. I did see some things out there that concerned me that was dangerous. I was treated real well by the park people that were out there. I think that they really want to do a good job out there. At the Stevens Park, I was told that the person at that park does not stay there full time. He is pulled from that park to do other things, and so he cannot give his whole concentration to that park. So that's something else that we need to look into. I really think that we need to get together with the baseball. I would like to see some sort of intergovernmental agreement type thing done so that they can get their own insurance.
They can do that already.
Then why aren't they?
That was just a miscommunication, but that has been taken care of. They can get their own.
Excuse me, she needs to come to the mic, Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me, Ms. Sharon. Could you come to the mic and then...
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was probably my fault. That was a lack of communication. I was under the impression we had a contract with Robert as a parish, so we had to use Robert Insurance. And Brad and I had some dialogue about that, and then when I approached Harry Robert about it, Harry said, no, they can do their own insurance as long as they name the parish. When I emailed Brad about that, they had already started registration and already with the same assumption that we would be doing the insurance. So yeah, I guess that's my fault. So they can all do their own insurance, but the $25 park fee does not need to be reduced. It does not need to be reduced. It needs to stay exactly where it is.
I don't have a
and for $25, you are getting equipment, officials, lights, a field, and you are getting, hopefully next year, longer baseball seasons. We are done with baseball the week after our children get out of school. So we are basically done with recreational baseball for the entire summer. So hopefully we can increase that. But I think for $25, I don't think that's a bad deal.
Sherry, one of the complaints we heard here tonight is that they have not, like even last year, did not have the umpires that they needed.
And we have, as I said before, we have rectified that situation with officials. I have officials who will not go to Stevens Park. So, to some degree, everybody needs to step up to the plate and do a little bit of improvement with everything. As I said earlier, where there were mistakes made, we tried to rectify those, even to the point of going out with private vehicles and moving equipment on the weekend because we had dropped the ball with dirt. So when we make mistakes, and we are going to make mistakes, we're human like everyone else, but we try very diligently to rectify those mistakes. I do not think the $25 park fee is the problem. I do not think that it needs to be lowered, and until the council votes to lower it, the $25 park fee, I think, needs to stay intact.
Okay.
Sorry, I had two questions.
We didn't complain about the $25 park fee as being too much, or never once did we say that was a detriment to people signing up. Again, we had 19 more boys this season than last season. We feel the $25 per child that's been spent is not being spent on boys baseball, or a good portion of it on boys baseball. That's our problem with the $25 fee. Not that it's $25. The umpires for our jamboree 2 weekends ago, we had on the 10-year-old field, which is where I coach one team, we had one umpire when we should have two for the first 2 games. The rest of the games we had no umpire. On the 8-year-old field and the 7-year-old field, we had no umpires for any of the games. So how the umpire situation is rectified, I'd like to see that, okay? Because that hasn't changed any. The lighting, nothing has changed in the lighting. There's no extra lights on the poles. The fields are still dark. So what has changed on that? Nothing.
Okay. Miss
I've got a couple questions and a comment. I understand where Mr. Borland's coming from on this. Whereas he's representing ABA, all right? I've had a lot of parents come up to me over the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of buzz at the park. Everybody knows that, okay? And I'm out there with my child who plays, and I had a lot of parents approach me. The situation with the umpires was a real problem during the current jamboree. It was. On the second day of jamboree in the ladies' restroom, there was no soap and no paper towels, and a bunch of little kids going to the bathroom and then going to the concession stand. Okay, I don't understand why we couldn't have somebody go by and maybe restock things the morning of. Sherry, did they restock? I mean, you're looking like you want to. There wasn't anything in there when I went in there on Sunday. I know that.
Friday was Good Friday, so we were off, but I was at that park the Friday before, blowing out dugouts, blowing out from under the bleachers, and I personally brought 2 cases of toilet paper there. To some degree, 2 cases of toilet paper are not going to last that long when they're thrown into the toilets. Neither will the seafoam towels, neither will the soap dispensers as they're pulled off the wall. So, everybody needs to step up to the plate there, I would agree, and we are trying our very best to rectify any mistakes that we make.
Well, there was plenty of toilet paper, and the soap dispensers, the toilet paper was there, that's great. The soap dispensers were on the wall, they were empty, and there weren't any paper
And I
towels.
would even go so far as to say that for the jamboree, I did offer for people to work that weekend, and I had no takers in my department.
Oh, what, nobody wanted to work the weekend? Was that the deal, or nobody asked them to come out?
No, I asked the people that work in recreation, would they like to work that tournament, that jamboree? No.
Okay, so that's maybe why
if I offer that to them and they tell me no, I mean, I cannot make them work on a weekend.
Okay, no, I had a couple more questions. The parents, the $25 fee, I never heard anybody complain about the $25 fee. I didn't hear any of the parents complain about the $25 fee. When many of these parents saw the letter and the information that was getting out, they had a question about the $30,000. And their question was, what did Stevens Park, now I can't speak about Santa Ma Park, I'm not familiar with it, and most of the people that I talked to, I think maybe 1 out of 30 folks maybe had a child that was playing at Santa Ma Park, so I mean, I really can't speak to that. But the parents that I spoke with wanted to know where that money was coming back to boys baseball, because they didn't see where any improvements really had happened at that park, aside from the parking lot that's being put in there. And these are people, most of these people were people who've been going to the park for years. They have kids that came up in the program. And so I just wanted to to reiterate what he's saying, I'm not hearing anybody complain about the $25. What I'm hearing is, for all the money that's going in, the $30,000 that's going in, where's anything being put back into this? You mentioned tournaments, and tournaments can be a great thing for the local economy. I mean, that can put kids and parents in local hotels and restaurants and everything else. But is that park in any condition to have a tournament? Really? Honestly, in your opinion, is that park ready to host a tournament?
No, my teams don't participate in the one tournament that I know of at Stevens Park. My team won't participate.
It's
because when you play rec leagues, obviously it's not as high a quality of baseball play as in the tournament play. Mm-hmm. Tournament play, the balls are hit a little bit harder, thrown a little bit harder, and it's in no way a decent shape for a tournament, for a good high quality tournament. No.
But I'm even talking outside of tournament baseball. I mean, if we ever wanted to do something with rec league where we would expand and invite maybe somebody in a neighboring parish or something, recreational leagues from another parish. I mean, if we wanted to stay away from tournament, because I understand we start talking about tournament versus rec league, and we get, we get, okay? But if we wanted to have rec leagues from surrounding areas to come in, Stevens Park just didn't. It's not Butch Gore Park, it's not. Butch Gore Park is. If anybody's been out to both parks, anybody here been out to both parks? Would you say that they're comparable parks? Okay. I mean, and I'm not saying that I know why they're not comparable, but they're not. So I just wanted to pass that on to y'all. There are a lot of parents out there that are echoing some of the concerns of ABA. They want to know the money that ABA pays the parish. Where does that money go? Is that money dedicated toward the baseball program, or does it just kind of go into the park general fund? Where does that money go? Can y'all tell us where the money goes?
I haven't that answer. I don't know if anybody from administration's here can share.
Anytime anybody wants to see the recreation budget, they're more than welcome to come in. And, Brad was in last year and saw exactly what goes where. Every year we spend $50,000 or more on lights. The only place I have lights is where there are ball fields. So part of that $25, that $30,000, goes into lights, utilities. The biggest utility user of our parks are parks with lights, where there are ball fields. Yeah, come in. The budget's there. You can see where all the money goes. I can tell you it's not going into my salary. It's not going into Beth's salary. It's not going into the salary of the people that work for me. But, I mean, there's a $1.2 million budget, and it's going for lights, utilities, just about everything that you can think of. But what a lot of people don't understand about this budget is that it's not $1 million that we have to go and disperse to baseball and to do this. That covers everything from our salaries to our retirement to our insurance, our vehicles, our fuel, our workman's comp, any and everything that goes to operating this department. You asked me at the beginning, do we need more money? Of course we need more money. I act under the budgetary guidelines that I'm given from parish government, and those are the guidelines that I created this budget under. I can make you a budget for $5 million and we still won't have enough money. Again, the national standard should be $1 million for every 10,000 people. We are nowhere near that. Most of the money in recreation is going into the parks where there are ball fields, simply because we have the lights, the fences, the maintenance, the machinery, the equipment. All of that pretty much goes. The 4 full-time employees are in parks where there are ball fields. So,
Mr. Lambert.
The budget's there.
Yeah, Mr. Ketchum, why are you standing? I mentioned a little while ago, you mentioned umpires. Some umpires do not want to go to Stevens Park. Could you give me a reason why? And who's in charge of placing these umpires?
We have 2 guys this year. We've started an organization, and they are training and certifying. And I think we had some of the baseball coaches go out with them when they were having a meeting. But yes, I do have some officials
why
who.
Is it? I'd like to answer. Or why? Because I think every coach,
they do not feel
that coaches in the league has to sign ethics and go to ethics class where they're supposed to correct, proper
and
coaching.
Have you been out there when they've had games?
Well,
would you say that everybody at that park is acting in a fine, upstanding manner?
I haven't.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I can't get the officials to go.
the umpires should be, you know, I don't know who's in charge of the umpires, but they should be placed whether
And they are,
want to go or
yes,
not,
they
if
are
they
going to
wanna
be
get
placed.
paid to ump.
But I'm just telling you that, you know, that's what some of them have told us. They would really rather we not place them at Stevens. So again, I think everybody has room for improvement. There's always ways to make things better. We're ready to do our part. If you think that more money is going to solve some of these problems, I'll take it. And we will solve some of these problems.
Again, who's in charge of the umpires as far as locating them where to get to the games?
We have two young men, Michael, Janice, and Brett.
And they in charge of
Layton.
all the umpires?
Yes, including this year they will also be scheduling adult softball.
Do they fall under the parish?
Yes, they are.
Recreation.
Yes, they are paid through the parish.
Okay.
They are parish employees as they sign up to referee or umpire or officiate in any park program we have.
Fine, I got it. Any other question for, no? Ms. Cheryl?
I just have a comment. I've got the budget for 204 and the budget for 207 here. We had $949,000 in the budget for 204, and we spent $382,400. We have $1,253,000, and we're spending $291 according to the budget. So our expenses are going down while the revenue's going up. I mean, Cheryl, you said we need more money, but we have more money.
Are going down?
It's right here, Cheryl.
You need to look at a more involved. Yeah, I don't need to see that. I can show you my budget as well, but I can tell you that expenses are not going down. All you need to do is look at the price of a kilowatt hour. That is not going down.
We've only budgeted $291,000 out of a $1.2 million, and it was $382,000 budgeted in 04. I mean, I'm just doing the numbers from what I have. That's all I have is my books.
Right, and all I can tell you is from 2005 to the 2006 budget to this budget, which I affected, we did not increase our budget. We stayed, I think, at 1.2. 10% of that goes to the West Ascension Recreation. But I can tell you that my expenses are not going down. I don't know where that's erroneous. Expenses are going up. Electricity is up.
I would like
Labor's
to
up.
intervene on this. Would never get solved here tonight.
No, I agree.
And I would like to appoint a committee to get with the baseball league, with Cheryl and board members here to get with them to resolve this problem as far as, you know, where is the money going, how to be well spent for the community. Once again, the bottom line is recreation is very important in this parish, and we will never end this problem right now unless we sit down at the table with all parties and come to a solution that would be, you know, feasible for everyone. And so I recommend that, you know, I can't make a motion, but I'd like to appoint a committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make that motion that we go ahead and form a subcommittee to deal with these issues.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor.
Second.
All right. All right. Motion to appoint that committee. I'd like to appoint the committee, and I'd like Ms. Cheryl Fontenot on there. I'd like Mr. Byron to be on that committee, and to get with Ms. Cheryl Kinch. And also, Ms. Pam, you'd like to be on that committee?
Sure.
Okay. And that would help us out a whole lot. Come back at the next meet and give us an update on what we can solve on these issues.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recommend Dempsey Lambert also serve on that committee because, I mean, he has kids that play ball. He is real close to the situation. And would you consider Dempsey
I
also?
just appointed the committee there, Mr.
That's it, okay.
That's it.
Okay, all right, good enough. I
I
understand.
appreciate everything, but I'm most probably be out there coaching with Byron or umpiring, so
Okay,
let's get
no
these
problem.
issues resolved.
I just,
All right, that motion is on the floor, and that committee has been appointed. All in favor on that motion, say aye. All against? Aye have it. Okay. Next thing on the agenda. Oh, I had one speaker I forgot. It went so long, and this is about the baseball. Mr. Brad Thompson. Is he?
Appreciate it. I'm the president of the Boys Baseball Association, and there's a few things that some of you may not have been present when the $25 was negotiated and then 10% concessions. First off, To attend a meeting and say there's no objection because you act civilized and don't get bent out of shape is not meaning that you're going along with anything. And there's a lot of that happening right now. We lost a 12-year-old field. We were in the meeting. We agreed to get rid of a 12-year-old field. That's not the case. There's a lot of things that are taking place that we are acting adult and civilized about, begrudgingly going along with to make best for the kids in the parish. So I want to set the record straight on that. You know, I've been the president when all of this is going on, and I haven't agreed with any of it, period. Second, we were taking in $35 and we were giving back $10. That was $25 net to our program. When Kenny Tomplay said we would be giving $25 and 10% concessions, we as a board met and agreed to go to $45 rather than $50 because we did not want to put an extra burden on the kids in the parish and not let anybody play ball because they couldn't afford it. Second, if there's anybody in the parish that cannot afford the $45, we as a board will work with them and allow them to play baseball. So anybody that has that situation needs to call me before registration next year and we'll work it out if I'm involved in that. So we gave up $5 a kid. Now, with the less money, what we've done with it, because I've been asked by Ms. Fontenot, what are we doing with the $45 we're doing? We're doing more than we did with the $25 we were keeping in the past. We put 6 new batting cages up because we have a growing thing. You know, I heard a meeting about 3 weeks ago that baseball was down. Yeah, I don't know where anybody's getting their figures from, but baseball is up. We're not sending letters out to the schools like we used to, so a lot of the new people in the parish coming in have no idea when our baseball program starts. It might have been the last February and the first Saturday in March for the last 30 years, but unless you lived in the parish the last 30 years, you're not going to be aware of that. So those numbers would have gone through the roof otherwise. The 10% concession was supposed to be a fee that was brought to y'all because y'all could monitor our program and make sure the money was staying on the up and up, period. All of that money was supposed to be returned back to the park and the league that it was raised from for the upkeep of the facilities, the equipment for the facilities, and the betterment of the fields. I was at that meeting. You were at that meeting. And a lot of the people that are involved were not at the meeting. That's what was supposed to happen. You know, we have thrown some quality tournaments at the park. In the last 3 years, we brought 17 dump truck full of red clay and dirt and put on those fields. I'm not going to sit here and go along with the bashing of the facilities all the way because we put a lot of manpower hours, and I can tell you if I was doing it for fee, I could probably retire with all the money I've spent out there at the park working on those fields. Those fields have come a long way in 3 years, and most people will attest where they may not be up to the par of some of these other facilities, they're 110% better than they were 3 years ago. I've spent way too much time out there and pride in it to sit here and knock it because, blood, sweat, and tears has been poured out on those ballparks. And I can tell you right now, I do have several tournament teams. We do go play tournaments elsewhere. And the fields, when we had the equipment to maintain and fix them, were as nice as a lot of places I have played at. Not that the bleachers and everything else was there, because a lot of those places are up on us on those things. But as far as being able to host a tournament, play tournament ball, we have 48 teams that come every year to come play at that ballpark, and they love to come to Ascension Parish and play at Stevens Park and Sanamo Park. And we were online to do that as well this year. The King of the Hill is supposed to be May 18th through 20th. And, that's a big event for the parish. And this is Ascension Parish. I hear a lot of this talk about how, the city, I think Ronnie said, the city's the only one that benefits because they have all the hotels and this. Well, it's not our fault. Build a hotel in the parish. We'll fill them up. But the idea that they're coming to Ascension Parish and not benefiting Ascension Parish is ridiculous. Everybody that has a business at Ascension Parish benefits from anybody coming into the parish spending money. We have been able to increase the budget by raising revenues from the tournaments, putting money back into PARC, and increase the budget, I believe, from $12,000 to $15,000. So we did increase $3,000 the budget
Mr.
this
Counsel,
year.
I have to cut this short, but 3 minutes was all you had allowed.
Well, I appreciate the 3 minutes after spending thousands of hours working on the facilities for free. That's, I think, a lot. I don't see the appreciation, but I apologize for that.
Mr. Chairman, I move we allow him to go ahead and finish. Just give him just a few more minutes to finish up. I'm sure he's getting close.
I guess the bottom line is, you know, we are taking in $20 a kid now as opposed to 25. We're paying 100% of the All-Stars. The shirts that they proudly wear to go represent Ascension Parish say Ascension Parish Baseball. We got $0 to help support that program. I wrote a check for $12,000 for uniforms and entry fees to All-Stars. We didn't get a penny back. Okay, so what are we doing with the $20 we're taking in? We're putting 17 loads of red clay out there and working it for free. We're buying uniforms for the kids. We're paying their entry fees. We put 6 new batting cages up. We sodded a lot of the infields, put a lot of batch of dirt to slope those fields, put a lot of sand out there, and a lot of manpower hours. So we're definitely doing our part. But the question I have to ask the council is this. We're putting $30,000 back, and we're hearing about $50,000 for lights and everything. Ascension Parish is one of the fastest growing parishes in the state, in the nation, in the country. We pay taxes. I pay for my garbage pickup, I pay for my water, I pay for my electricity, I pay for everything. And I'm paying for my recreation too, which I thought was a service the parish was supposed to provide for the citizens of the parish. So somewhere in my tax dollars, lights ought to be coming out of that. Shouldn't be coming out of my kid's pocket to play baseball. You know, there's a lot of things going on, and one reason that brought me here, you know, I heard a meeting 2 months ago. $500,000 was thrown around like it was nothing about a skateboard park. And I thought, you know, I thought to myself, well, $500,000 sounds so little until you ask for $5,000 for boys baseball that has 800 and almost 90 kids, and then it's too much. It just doesn't add up. We got people participating in programs that I would bet money there's never going to be anywhere near 900 people at a skateboard park on a regular basis. You know, but we're spending $12,000 a year on their program. And we're supposed to sit here as taxpayers thinking that $500,000 is not much. Well, I agree they need to have skateboard parks and BMX parks, and there's nothing this parish shouldn't be able to do because it is a fast-growing parish and a lot of tax dollars are being spent at it. But I don't see cutting programs that are as big and involved as ours to make way for other programs. I don't see the logic in it. I don't see the sense in it. I provide a security light for my family in my backyard. I pay $7 a month for. For 3 years, I've been asking for security lights to protect men and women and kids at a ballpark from being harmed when they leave the ballpark and the lights are out. Hadn't seen one yet. Okay? That extra $25 or 10% of concessions or anything could have bought and did buy, I think, infield machines that we could use. I got an infield machine I'm using right now, has no brakes. Which one of the 859 kids do y'all want to walk in front of that machine when it's going to a field to do maintenance and get run over? I don't want it to be anybody I know. So, you know, I just think there's a lot. We're too good and too big and too strong of a parish to have these kind of problems. And You know, we shouldn't have to come here at all. I think Sherry and Beth are doing the best job they can possibly do. I really do. And Sherry, I would really hate to try to run a program with $15,000. I really would, and then be blamed for everything that goes on with it. I think it's a joke, and I you know, I'm not here to point fingers at y'all or anybody else. This is an election year. I think people have seen where recreation has fallen in this parish. Period. And, you know, if recreation's important to you and your family, I think you need to get out and vote. And I think you need to vote and make your voice heard that we are providing our own programs out of our own pockets. There's not a dime coming from the parish to provide any of this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if I give you $30,000 and you give me 15 back, you didn't give me any new money. You gave me the money I gave you. And that's not good enough. It's not. So I'm not going to keep you any longer, and I appreciate you hearing me out, but the job's not done, and I think everybody can work together to make it the quality parish and program that we all want it to be, and somewhere that we can all be proud of. I'm proud of the park for what it is right now. Could it be better? It could be a lot better. You know, and we're going to work tirelessly to make it better. But we would just like a little help. So that's all I have. And, you know, I could probably clear up any questions that anybody had about anything in the past, but that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Brad.
I'd just like to say one thing, and before we adjourn here, is that just like Mr. Brad Thompson just said, we're the fastest growing parish in the state of Louisiana, in the United States. Sooner or later, we're going to have to wake up and realize that we are growing that fast, and everything going to cost more money. And the quality of life, I mean, you know, it costs. And recreation, and like you said, people in this parish going to have to step up the game. We have to step up our game to get the quality of life in this parish and make it a better parish. Because we need every dollar in this parish. And right now, I was with them saying, we hear other parents going to Baton Rouge to play ball. We don't want that. We need every tax dollar stay right here in this parish. And so, once again, you know, we need to look at recreation and step it up, because every dollar we spend in this parish make us a better parish, you know, and we like to keep the quality of life, and the people here in this parish stays here. They don't need to go nowhere else to do anything else, because we can give them all those service right here, you know. So that's all I have to say.
I just wanted to say ditto to that. There's nothing in this parish more valuable than our young people. They're our future, and they do matter. And we will get to the bottom of this and get recreation going back in the right direction. I thank you for your time to come out here tonight and bring your grievances to us, and to let you know that they haven't fallen on deaf ears. We are looking into the matter, and we are working toward seeing what we can do to rectify. And it will take all of us. It will take you guys, ourselves, and Sherry, and all of us to work together to come to a better solution. Thank you.
Got a
motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion adjourned. All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.
How you